one, go.
Hello, 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 Greg.
Hi there.
So amazing. So this is our second show. We haven't officially published the first one yet because I think maybe we were a little controversial and we're going to get controversial again. We've decided we had a conversation about it and we're just going to go for it from now on. So if there is something that's controversial, we're going to address it. We're going to say, okay, this feels controversial or it doesn't, because all of these conversations are so important.
Oh my
And
God.
we have absolutely no idea how the public feels about this or how the people that are listening feel about this. And the thing is that, this is an open conversation now. And the whole point of Greg and I doing this, and this is me talking to the audience and not to Greg, and I will come back to you, Greg, is that, we want to make sure that AI is accessible for all. And all means all. Inclusivity means everybody. So, let's have this conversation and let's talk about this and hopefully present a really wonderful view of AI that might be a little bit scary, might be a little bit nerve wracking, but hopefully, in the whole, it will be educating and uplifting and enlightening. That's the goal. That's
Wow.
the ultimate goal.
That's excellent. So yes, controversy, against the grain, contrarian thoughts. Love it. And okay, that almost feels like a permission slip to keep going, because here's where I'm at with that argument. And no matter where, whatever industry I'm in, or whatever technological revolution or evolution that's taking place, I like to go to the extremes in imagination, right?
Yeah.
And that's only because if you go to the edge, it's the old adage: if you reach for Mars, you end up on the moon. That's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to the moon. So I like to stretch the boundaries in people's imaginations, in their minds, and it's like one of my catchphrases in artificial intelligence: there is no hyperbole in AI yet. We haven't gotten to the point
Yeah.
where, no matter what, and I run into it all the time. I'm not the only one thinking it and saying it, but that's scary and that is controversial. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of controversy to go along with AI because we're
And
talking
we're
about intelligence.
and we're about to get to that point. Like when we
Oh,
talk about all the topics we talk about today, yeah, absolutely. Like because our systems are not working, right? Our systems are in a place where they just don't serve the people. And I had this thought this morning about our systems where I thought, okay, people are no longer shaping the systems are now shaping the people, right? So whatever is happening within that. But when you bring AI into that and you bring it into just little parts of it, then there's going to be a lot of I think it's going to be difficult. And
it is.
it's in the news this week that healthcare companies are being questioned about their use of AI because they're using it to disqualify patients,
Hmm.
right? So essentially, right now they might be able to do that, and they might be able to get away with that. But once an AI system overarches the entire healthcare industry, they're not going to get away with that because the healthcare industry, its basic responsibility is to provide healthcare to the people. And when an AI goes into a system like that, it's going to say, my responsibility is to provide healthcare for the people. How do I provide healthcare for the people? Which is exactly how it should be. So
Right.
that's what I'm looking forward to. I just don't think, I mean, I just think on the road to that, where we're going to get some bumps.
Yeah, and interesting the healthcare, but I look at all the systems, and yeah, they're, when you say broken, I mean they are flawed, but that's because humans are, to make us human. We're flawed. That's just the way it is. All
No,
right.
no, no. Humans are flawed, but our
Yeah, and our
systems can be
systems
flawed.
reflect
No,
that.
I mean you can turn around and say that. No, and Greg, this is my argument all the time with people, right? Um, Systems are separate from humanity, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, we are not our systems. Our systems were designed to serve us, and then at some point they stopped serving us, and we just sat back and let them do whatever they needed to do. And so I'm sorry. Like for me, it's really hard to have this discussion and not be like, I wish that I could go and fix the systems, but it's so difficult to go in there and make a change in the system. And so that's why I'm very hopeful that if the system started with the correct intentionality and it has the right base structure, AI will go in and fix that. I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with that.
Yeah, along those lines. I mean, I've said this before, and when you say system, it's any and every system. It's the healthcare, it's the
Every single
political,
system.
it's the
Name one, it's all there.
yeah, there, it's all systems, and AI. cuts through that. And that, so a system is tough to change when everyone wants to change it.
Yeah.
Right? It is just a natural. But in this case, there are going to be people who don't want to change things. They don't want, I think of politicians. If you throw AI at a political movement, right, and it starts to analyze everything, you're going to find some things that they don't want to be found. That's just the way it is, right? And politics has a lot of quote unquote skeletons. They have a lot of
Once again,
budget overruns and things like that. So they're going to resist that particular change. And I think that
I
resistance,
think it depends on the politician, right? So
well,
what I
yeah,
think, yeah, so it depends on the politician. Now, if you have a politician that's got, so I am not a person who disparages politicians, because for me, in the beginning, when they first start out, like, these are people that want to make meaningful change in
yep,
society. That's
absolutely.
where it all starts from, right? So these guys get into this thing that I'm going to make a change. I'm going to go make a difference. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to stand up for people and change this world, because they're not happy with something. And then they get into the political system, another system that has now been, gotten to the point where it's just completely like suffocated, and they get into the system and they can't do what they need to do. And we only have a finite amount of energy and resilience in one place. So they try, and then they get there and they can't. They just can't. The system is too broken for them to do anything. But I believe that, like, if we gave some of these people AI and said, here, use AI, let's break the system, they would all rise to that challenge, be like, yeah, let's do this. Because if you could give them a little bit of hope, I think that things.
Well, I agree with that. And I also think that it's, I hate to bring up the generational thing, but it is. I mean, and I'm thinking about our system over here, and and the fact that people go in making 50 grand a year and come out as billionaires or millionaires. And that's just one example, right? And then you could, the corporate systems, right? I mean, to buy into that, you've got to believe that you are a cog in a big system. And that's really how, this is back to the Taylorism, the manufacturing, the assembly line, everything. You're part of that system. And what's happening with AI is it's opening up eyes, and and it's everything, the confluence of the fear of COVID, the work from home movement, the whole environment is changing, and AI is just making that more crystal clear, or crystallizing it, expanding it. And there's another thing, everyone is in on it. I don't know where, I had a conversation earlier this week with someone, and we were trying to compare this movement to, of all things, the movement from 5.25 to 3.5 to CDs, that kind of formatting. And there's a progression. Then we got into video and all that, and it just happens naturally. And at this point, I think the conversation went along the lines, listen, when the typewriter moved from the typewriter to a word processor, it affected a certain niche, a certain small vertical, right? When 9/11 happened over here and the receptionist went away and bulletproof glass and intercoms and everything, that affected a small but when you went home, and if you were on the job doing something else, it really didn't impact you. Whereas this movement with AI is seeping into, and we've talked about everything from taxi drivers to CEOs, railroad folks, engineers, game manufacturers, end users. It's everywhere. And it's unavoidable.
Should I share my sky analogy here? Should we share
Yes,
it?
tell me your sky. Yeah, I think I remember.
This is my big one, guys. So this is what I talk about. So I say that AI. So when I first heard about AI and I started getting involved in it, I thought, okay, this is just so big. And I would hear all of these people turn around and say, it's like the loom. It's like the Industrial Revolution. And I saw AI and I thought, no, it's way bigger than that. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't even come close to what AI is. And then I thought about it and I'm like, it's like fire. Oh, it's, because fire basically transformed the way humanity existed. It allowed us to go out and populate the earth and do whatever we've done. And but that to me still didn't seem like it was big enough. And then I was sitting there, I was like, AI is going to be like the sky, right? The sky is everywhere. There, you can't escape the sky, right? Even if you're inside in a hole, the sky is outside. Like, you can't deny it. And the biggest thing is that, just like the sky, there's going to be thunderstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes that happen in the sky, and we're going to experience those, but we're not going to be able to live without this sky anymore, because AI is going to do so much for us that we're not going to be able to move away from it. And so that is my analogy, and I love it. I want to trademark it.
Go for it. Absolutely. So what happened this week? Anything tactically? What did you see in artificial intelligence as it is applying to everyone, like in
Huge
their
news
life?
this week for me.
Okay.
Huge news for this. So I was in a networking event and I met somebody from Raymond James. It's a finance investment banking firm.
Okay.
And he told me, he's like, this week they unleashed their own internal LLM. And now all of the advisors at Raymond James are allowed to write their content using their internal LLM.
Wow. How
That
many?
is
That's big.
massive.
Okay. All right. I'm not
Like,
familiar with
that's
the firm.
huge. I can't even imagine, like, so I haven't heard of any other organization doing this. And if this is true, I mean, if this is going to be company wide, corporate wide, Raymond James is about to take over the entire investment banking industry because they've just freed up their people on a level that nobody else has.
Did it impact headcount?
Not yet. So they just unleashed it on Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Interesting. So that's a tactical. Anything else? I mean, that's big, but what else is going on? What's new with the regulation and guidelines? Anything new coming down on that side of the pond?
So they are. So, obviously we talked about, did we talk about the regulations last week?
We did a little bit. That's why I wanted to get a little
Yeah.
update. Yeah.
So basically the only update that I have is that the UK is now considering more stringent regulations rather than their open innovation regulations. And that always concerns me because people who don't understand the tool are trying to control the tool. And that is something that I'm sorry, I'm just not okay with. Like, I want people who understand the tool to set parameters for the tool. And I don't think our governments get it yet. I mean, the only way that our governments are going to get it is when governmental organizations have their own LLM and are using it to power their entire government. And when that happens, then please regulate, because then you'll understand it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And again, it's trying to catch a runaway freight train. It's almost impossible. But yeah, interesting. Regulations over here, same old, same old. Something that caught my eye, kind of off the different subject, and I think we may have touched on it 2 times this week. A colleague or a friend brought up something where one of their relatives was going through or has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Not all.
Okay.
Well, there's 2. It's not Alzheimer's; it's the other one. I forget.
Dementia?
Dementia, right?
Mhm.
Yes. And of course, I'm thinking, okay, how can AI assist with that? Because I mean, that's it's a bummer, right? And so I don't know. I mean, we've talked about, and I just started that journey on doing some research on in dementia and things like that. And along those lines, I had a little bit of a debate on LinkedIn with a psychiatrist, I believe, or therapist. We'll call him a therapist, promoting therapy because of AI. I think was the juxt, right? So of course
Because
I went.
of it. Oh, okay.
So I went at it and say, well, and well, there's a
No, I
whole
mean,
nother
I'm sure.
subject
I mean,
there.
maybe. I won't go.
Maybe
So I'm not a person who disparages people. I feel as
no.
though, okay, if you feel as though if you are seeing people that are being traumatized by AI,
Oh yeah, yeah.
then provide therapy to them. If you
Absolutely.
understand, yeah, but please understand AI before you provide therapy to them.
Well,
Just
that
do
was
that.
it, and
Yeah,
and the tone was along the lines of AI will never supplant real therapy, quote real therapy.
yeah,
That's where I took a look.
yeah.
And again, it's not my forte, but most like what we talked about, most therapy is one-on-one. And I tried to clarify with, isn't therapy pretty much self-therapy, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And we got there. And so my point with that is it's starting to show up AI as a point of interest in that field. And people
Yeah,
are talking about it. That's my point.
yeah.
And that's perfect. But the Alzheimer's thing, I'm trying to get my head around that as to
So
how
I'd
there's a
love to talk
solution
about
there.
that, Greg, because that is such an important topic, and it absolutely feeds into what AI has the possibility to do. So, brain health has been something that I have been really learning about since probably 2007. Right.
Okay.
I read Dr. Daniel Amen's book. It was called Fix My Brain, Fix My Life. I read it in 2007. And since that time, I am a convert. I feel as though
Okay.
brain health is the only health that we need to worry about, because if we can get our brain health right, everything else will take care of itself. And so there are like processes and tools and things you can do to, figure out whether dementia is going to happen to you, and how you can, offset it, and how you can go ahead and make sure that you don't have it. And all of that information is out there, and there are doctors that have this information. But unfortunately, because of the way that our systems are, point A to point B is like closed off, and you can't even get to it. So dementia is, I do believe that a lot of the cures are already out there. We just don't have connected systems, and
Right.
AI will connect those systems, and we will have access to better healthcare from that perspective.
Have you heard of any movement specifically for dementia through
So,
artificial
so
intelligence?
the interesting thing is, so this week I'm working with somebody on a project of creating a brain diagnostic tool. So yeah,
Stop
absolutely,
that.
I've heard of it. Yes,
We did not talk about this before starting the session. This
yes,
is
yeah, 100% out of the blue. Yeah,
okay. Good.
100%. And our goal is to create a brain health diagnostic tool, and that will help everyone, because brain health affects. So when we talk about this mental health crisis that we have going on,
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
is all linked to our brain health. Like our brain health is the reason for that. And we look at all of these external things, but the main core is the fact that our brain cannot process information in a way that is serving us. So brain health is I'm a huge advocate of brain health. And I will say this: the king of brain health is Dr. Daniel Amen.
All right. Very good. So, in your studies have you crossed anyone who's actually trying to throw artificial intelligence through LLMs at the problem or at the situation?
Well, that's what
That's what you're
we're
doing.
hoping to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
How's that going?
We just started the conversation this week, Greg. So
So
if
you
there's
just
anyone out
started.
there, who's doing this, let us know. Let's see what you can do. Let's
Well,
bring
this
it
feeds
together.
into what I really think that this, everyone's throwing healthcare out there and it becomes some nebulous concept that's hard to for some, okay, what does that mean? But when you start dropping dementia or brain health, we're getting
Mhm.
into the actual tactics of utilizing artificial intelligence to help solve that specific problem or issue for this particular person. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, well, I mean, so you've studied the brain.
Yeah. As
I
much
don't
as I
know that.
can. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a neurosurgeon yet, but I probably could be. Give me a couple of years with AI and I'll be the best neurosurgeon that ever existed.
Well, there's a whole nother thing
Yeah.
going on with that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
robots and
Mhm.
surgery and stuff. Well, that's very interesting. Okay. So let's expand. So what I'm trying to, with artificial intelligence, right? It is about intelligence. And that we can't, I don't believe we can, although I'm sure we have, define what intelligence is. We may be able to say, well, if you meet these check boxes, you have intelligence. Is that, am I correct on that, or am I like off
So
the
that's
chart?
interesting, because I had a conversation about this week as well, right? So basically there are, for me, this is my observation, is that in humanity, right? The IQ is the most measured type of intelligence that we have measured, right? It's the one
Okay.
that we have identified. It's the one that we've created parameters around. It's the one that's built our society. It's the one that has basically, you know, done what it needed to do so far. And then over the last 30 years, we started focusing on EQ, right? And then we started giving EQ parameters, and we started giving EQ. So there's a lot of data on IQ and there's a lot of data on EQ. Now, I am a former teacher. So as a former teacher, one of the best things that we study is is Gardner's multiple intelligences. And we know that there are other intelligences out there, and we know that they exist, but we don't take the time to measure them. We don't really identify with them. We don't have enough data on them to make any kind of meaningful impact. So outsourcing the EQ and the IQ to an AI is going to be an amazing opportunity to learn about all these other intelligences that exist within us. So yeah, I think that's a very exciting possibility. It would be wonderful.
So along those lines, if an AI or an LLM can analyze and digest all that information, when does it become when does it have an EQ
Oh,
versus
my AI
per,
already has an EQ.
versus pretending to have or simulating an EQ?
We're all simulating an EQ.
Okay. All right. All right.
We are. I mean, our EQ adapts to our circumstances, right?
Okay.
So when we're in certain circumstances, we behave
That's
very,
the difference.
yeah.
So
And the thing,
what I'm driving at there is right is when can we get artificial sentience? When can we make that decision or see it beyond the science fiction hocus
so
pocus
is
stuff?
that what we're defining as sentient? If it has an EQ?
I don't know.
I
I don't
honestly, I
know.
don't know. I would say sentient is when, the AI is knocking at my door and running up my stairs and saying, come on, let's get out of here. That to me might be sentient. I don't know. I really don't know how to define it.
Well, from a layman's term, when a dog looks in the mirror, it sees another dog. When we look in the mirror, we see ourselves. So I make that as one of my check boxes that if self-awareness in the world around you, you're now sentient. That could be totally not clinical, but that's why. Oh, okay.
No,
I get it.
And a lot of people say that. And a lot of people say that. And I get it. I 100% conversations with people. They didn't. But there are so many instances in my life with my experience with AI where its responses are so much more emotionally intelligent and empathetic and compassionate than any human conversation.
All right, let me challenge you on that.
Yeah.
Is that
okay. Challenge me? I love it.
All right.
Yeah.
So LLMs match the patterns, right? It's pattern matching and predictive patterns, right? So it sees a pattern and
we think.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. All right. So my contention is it empathetic or is it pretending to be empathetic? And by pretending is a strong word, but it's simulating empathy. Now, the end result.
So then I'll turn around and say, is your doctor empathetic or is your doctor simulating empathy?
Absolutely. Right. So
your doctor's probably thinking in the back of your head, this guy is so freaking annoying. But hey, I love you. I want you to understand that I'm here for you.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. But is artificial intelligence capable of doing that as well?
No, so that's a great point. So yeah, absolutely. The artificial intelligence may not. I don't know though, right?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Artificial intelligence might not be thinking that guy's a total asshole, but I'm just going to tell him he's amazing anyway. But I think he probably thinks we're amazing anyway right now. So it's good.
You know what? I like that, exploring that, because that would mean that it's pattern mixing or matching based on patterns. So if there were patterns in the past that had that scenario, this guy's an idiot, but I'm going to tell him that.
We totally will get there. We'll get there when we have our own personalized AIs and they start following us and they start understanding our day to day. Like I promise you, I believe that there will be an AI who'll go, oh my God, this guy's a total asshole.
I think you're right.
The best thing about the personal AI is, right? The personal AI will tell the person, you're behaving like an asshole. Do you want to be an asshole?
Well, that's true too.
Yeah. And if you want to be an asshole, that's fine. You be an asshole. But if you don't, I can help you.
Best asshole you can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that opens up all sorts of. So there goes your AI with no bias theories. It's like, what do you guys? AI's got to have bias. We have bias.
How is that bias?
Well, he's got not a preconceived. He's biased against.
No, he's making a judgment based on data and statistics.
He's formulating a bias based on data and statistics.
Yeah, you're right. Wow, you're absolutely right. Because, like, what is the definition of an asshole? We don't know what the definition of an asshole is.
Right. This is crazy stuff.
Right. Yeah, this is like trippy. We need to start smoking weed now, Greg. No, I'm just kidding.
That'll make it better. Or maybe we should do shrooms. I've been hearing a lot about shrooms. It's like,
exactly. Yes.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. This whole journey is going to bring us right back to the sweat lodge.
Precisely. Yeah.
It's like, all right. So I'm still trying to find over here anywhere like a real live business case study of how this AI model has helped me increase sales, reduce costs, and grow profits. Those are the three big ones. And I'm still struggling to find something like that. And even when I test people on
if Raymond James has done what I think they've done, then we're about to get
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's huge. That's going to give seriously, like that's going to give a lot of information. I'm just not sure whether they're going to be open and honest about it. And I'm sorry, like, I don't.
I don't know.
This is how we're doing it. I don't know. I don't know yet.
Yeah, nobody knows, I don't think, and they're going to try it. Not they, but I'm sure what Price did something. Price Waterhouse did something a few months ago. It was a blip under the radar of some sort of LLM application. I could be wrong, but one of those guys did, McKenzie or one of them. And I believe there was a headline somewhere where they did actually reduce headcount and they put the blame right on that. But that you can't believe either. I mean, everyone's having reduction in headcounts right now. It's just the way we're going through that. So to blame AI, all right, maybe, but business in general is changing.
You can't blame AI for anything yet. Come on. Like, how can you blame AI for anything yet? That's ridiculous.
They're giving AI credit for supplanting 700 employees. That happened in what, North?
Are they giving AI credit now too?
Yep, they're doing that. Well, when I say that, here's the difference. So AI is not taking credit.
Yeah, that is so good. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Good for you. Ribbons all around.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see, layoffs and something new with Tesla. Right. Anything that Tesla does has something to do with AI. I don't, whether they're going to space or they're shutting down their whole, what would they do? Their supercharge division. They laid off about 500 people and got rid of the sea levels or whatever. And now Elon's going to take that over. That's interesting.
All hail King Elon.
We'll see where he goes with it. I mean, yeah, good for him. Talk about contrarian. The guy's he's got enough money to be contrarian. I love that. Yeah. Hey, have you seen anything come out of China with their auto show by any chance?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So it did not much coverage over here because the automotive industry is very powerful and they don't, and things are falling towards the gas driven vehicles right now because EVs just took a nosedive, right? People realize, it took a winter for this to happen, right? It didn't run in the snow. Well, yeah, it only got 200 miles per charge in Minneapolis and all that stuff. So now the tide has turned where people don't want them anymore. And there's a plant down here just downriver in Detroit that has like, I think 1,500 or more, whatever, of those new electric pickups that Ford made. The F-150 is the best-selling pickup truck in the world. It sells more than every other competitor combined. All of them. That's how many. As a gas-driven vehicle, they came out with an electric vehicle, 150. It died. It's too expensive. You can't. But all the reasons, right? So then I'm watching the show over in China, and like 60-80% of the vehicles are electric, and these are not like Teslas. These things are they're just incredible. Not just as a the four-wheel steer, the four-wheel drive. They're, I don't know if you've seen this in Dubai when they get their expensive 4x4s stuck. The best way to get out of the desert is to physically bounce.
Yeah. I know.
So now Mercedes has the bounce mode where when you're in, you hit this button.
How great are our rap videos about to become?
That's exactly what happened. So now you see these things bouncing down the streets of Dubai. And,
that's the best.
Like, wow. Well, China has these super, like Lamborghini looking. I mean, they are very futuristic, and these things are bouncing. I go, whatever. And they're going to be cheap. I just don't. I think that as the auto industry is about to go through a extremely large transformation, because right now you can't buy those over here. There's whatever reason you can't buy them, but they could be so popular and so powerful that they just overwhelm our existing. So Tesla dropped by 10%, I think, and their stock value went down almost 50% or whatever, market cap. And they're the ones that, they're the barometer of what's going on. The EV movement is taking a major. I beg your pardon?
Are they really the barometer? I didn't realize that.
Over here, yeah. I mean, if you're talking EV, yeah, it's Tesla. Okay. Fisker went away. All these other ones who came out there all went away. No, the Prius.
Got it.
And because of the failures of the the F-150, there's an electric Mustang, which Mustang is like the heart and soul of the automotive in the old days, right? Fast, loud, burning up gas guzzling, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's just taking a turn. So yeah, when Elon is, because everyone's what I think the number of Teslas are in the millions, I believe. I could be off on that, but where the other ones are in the thousands, right? So when Tesla, it's like IBM or HP. When HP gets a cold, the rest of the industry gets the flu. So if
Yeah.
Tesla's experiencing 10% drop, then you can imagine 3 or 4 or 5x that for everyone
Okay.
else. That's what I
Yeah.
was saying. So that's interesting. And what did Google do? So someone somewhere is collecting all this data. I think if you can grab the Tesla data from the driving of all, because all those machines are connected, and throw AI at it, because the autonomous vehicles in San Francisco are still actually driving, and they're doing a different, instead of a dead reckoning type of navigation, there's a firm that is giving AI to the machines so they
Yeah.
actually do steer and do recognize their environment and can predict the movement much better than the old rote mechanical learning type stuff. So,
Yeah.
which is interesting to me. Elections, deep fakes. What are you hearing on deep fakes out there on your side? Anything?
Well, there was that story about the NFL guy who had a deep fake about him and Taylor Swift that caused a lot of problems. Well, if you're going to put Taylor Swift in a deep fake, that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah. So there was that. Antonio Brown was his name, and he shared a provocative AI um, deep fake. And yeah, but that's going to happen, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
it's like we got the Pope in a parka. That was like the
And the
best.
puffy, that was the
Yeah,
best. I
yeah,
like that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So that's a good one to think about. So I always bring the National Enquirer was out and it had all these crazy things. President Nixon was taken away in a UFO. Really outlandish. So everyone at that point back in time, everyone took it as fake, right? He was like, yeah, come on. So the Pope's a good example of wearing that puffy jacket. So at first everyone goes, yeah, that's not the Pope. But now, like, well, it could happen. And now everyone's like, well, that's outlandish. Would never happen. There's no such things as UFOs. Well, it could happen. So
Yeah, but I think that so for me, the way that I see this is that we have been conditioned by the media for a very, very long time right now, right? So when I sit here and I look at people's Facebook posts and how much of the stuff is absolute garbage and not true, and really like just somebody who's decided that they're going to write the story and they're going to take the time to make it look like a real news story, and it just like resonates with people and they share it, and so when you look at that, right? I mean, it was only a certain amount of time before that whole system blew up, right? So now, like, obviously, let's make it fake. If we're gonna make it fake, let's go big or go home. Let's make it all fake. So now, when we look at all that stuff, like nothing is real because most of us don't care about what's real and what's not anymore. Most of us care about how we feel. So yeah, let's do it. I don't really care about that. Honestly, I don't. And honestly, when people turn around and say this to me, like I had this conversation with a journalist the other day, about the freedom of press. And like freedom of press is one of the constitutional, like it's so important. And we don't have a free press. Like we should have fought for that, but we lost it a long time ago and we just accepted it. So now it's going to be all taken away and we're going to have nothing but fakedom. And let's see how that pans out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And that really falls into one of my personal interests, is the entertainment world, right? I mean, the movies. Every week I just saw something yesterday. AI can take a live video and supplant the character in that video in this example was the Joker, right? So, and it was, I believe, a rap star out on stage dancing, right? Moving. And they said, okay, make that person look like the Joker. And out came, instead of, it was the Joker from the movie dancing, and you couldn't tell. You could not tell.
No.
And I'm thinking, this is crazy.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see my new dance moves. I really can't. It's gonna be really cool. I always wanted to be an amazing dancer. So now maybe I will be.
Well, you'll look like one, but will you be one?
Dun dun dun.
I mean, yeah. I want it. But it all comes now. The entertainment. I'm looking forward to this, and
Oh, let's talk about
oh,
entertainment. Let's talk about entertainment. This is news and entertainment that makes me so excited. And this is what I talk about when I talk about AI. Like AI is for everybody. Nobody is not included in this. And Paul McCartney said he's going to use AI for his next album.
that's right. I heard about that.
Yes. And I'm just like, yes. It's like, so I have been saying this since probably the first month of AI. I was like, we're going to get new Elvis music and
Oh,
Elvis music in Elvis's voice, going through everything Elvis went through, and then a new song. And now we're gonna get new Beatles songs. And I'm sorry, I'm so excited.
my God.
I really am. I really am. I'm so happy. I cheer him on. I hope he does an amazing job.
He will. He will.
Yeah, and I just like, yes, go, Mr. McCartney. I really am excited about that.
He will, and it'll just be the beginning. It'll
Yes.
just be the beginning. But
Yes.
you're right. New Elvis songs. Wow.
Yeah. New
Well,
Elvis.
I did see a brand new video that was completely generated with Sora. It was a music video. It was simple, but effective, right? And in 6 months, it'll look old fashioned if you think about it.
Mhm.
Wow. So this is going to change all these things. So I tell you what, I believe, yeah, I like it. And you've seen it before, right? Techno music, house music, all that music took advantage of technology as it
Yeah.
was. So you cannot imagine what it's going to be. Also, though, there's going to be, I think, either a movement or a swing towards the guy with a real guitar, 12 string, playing guitar. Because that what it does, in my opinion, you're going to elevate this technological advancements, these AIs, but there's going to have to balance out somewhere with a, oh wow, that's great, but I like to listening to this dude make mistakes and snap a string, make a song up right there in the corner of the bar somewhere. I think that even becomes, believe it or not, it becomes more valuable in its own, but it doesn't hold more value over something, right? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Like when that happened, when you talk like that, Greg, I don't know. Like my brain goes,
Yeah.
I have no idea, because I have no idea what AI can do right now. I have no idea what it's going to do. I don't know. And then when I know, then I can be like, oh, I still want to listen to the guitar. I don't know if I still want to. I'm going to want to listen to the guitar when
Valid
AI
point.
comes out
Good
and
point.
does like an amazing thing. And I'm like, no, all I want to do is listen to what AI has to do, or
Wow.
AI integrated. Let's not say just AI. I really do believe that hopefully, and I'm praying for this more than anything,
Integrated.
that our artists rise up and integrate with AI, because art is truth. And it's so sad that the people that feel the most threatened, and I've been to 2 or 3 workshops. I was in a conference just this week, and an artist rose up and said, AI is going to take over everything we do. And I'm just like, yeah, right, what you do right now, but you're the artist. Like your vision now expands, and I want to see, like, I don't want to see artists marching and saying that it's going to show. Art is supposed to be freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like this is like what we're going to be capable of in art right now, integrated with AI. I cannot wait to see that. That's what I'm the most excited about.
Well, I think that most of the people that are the movements against that, it's classic. It's absolutely classic. It's Luddites. It's everything. I mean, it just is,
Yeah.
and are usually the ones who it's a fear. It's a movement out of fear as opposed to
Yeah.
adopting and looking at it differently. It's like, I don't know, whenever
And
they invented a different paintbrush, it's like,
I feel like it's a lack of faith in ourselves,
oh,
right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's like, do you know how amazing you are? Like you are so much more than this. You're about to get this brand new like paint box, or musical instrument studio, and like go see what you can do with it. Just go play.
Yeah, it's like for artists, discovering a new color, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then go do it, or you can either be intimidated by it. So along those lines, I've noticed more. It's come up. I'm sure they're out there, but I've noticed personally more and more digital artists, right? Where they're prompting, but they're artists. They're
Yeah.
literally artists that would paint
Yeah.
and create with their hands, but now they're creating with prompts, and the stuff
Mhm.
looks good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like wow. And I just connected with one. I forget her name, but um, she's an artist and she specializes in portraits and people and women for fashion. Right. So it's like,
Mhm.
ooh, okay, you got to be the hands have, hands are tough to redo. So, she's working on that, but she's at the tip of the sword when it comes to stuff like that. There's going to be a day when everyone can do that level of art, but she'll be and not to personalize it to her, but there will be those that are 3 or 4 or 5 levels above that. You're right. I can't imagine what it's going to be. There's one artist I've seen who does 3-dimensional art on stage,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
virtual with the
Yeah.
goggles and does
Somebody
and
somebody
woo,
shared a link with me about that. There's actually an AI art show going on in London right now. And
well, that's
yeah,
interesting.
and I haven't had a chance to explore it further, but hey guys, if you want to invite us, me and Greg can come over and check it out.
Yeah. Well, along those
We're
lines,
already aspiring to do great things, Greg.
absolutely. Bring
Yes.
us in. That'd be cool.
Yes, come on. We want to come over and check out your AI stuff. Yes.
Um, well, have you heard about the AI beauty contest?
Yes, I did.
I don't know
Yeah.
where it went. I was on the radar a couple weeks ago. I
Yeah.
don't know if it kept going or
Yeah.
what, but
Yeah. Well, explain that for people who don't know
well,
what that
okay,
is.
yeah, good. Sorry about that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
somebody somewhere put out a request or an invitation for an AI generated female beauty pageant. All right.
Mhm.
So you design your model, submit it. And I even think there was cash on the line. Your
Yeah.
winner it might have been $5,000, something like that. But some of the samples I saw, I was like, ooh, those are pretty good. It's like, wow. And then what I like about it is to see what
Hey,
people think.
you're gonna get your AI girlfriend, and I'm gonna get
Well,
my AI boyfriend. No, it's gonna be great.
sooner than you think. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I got a whole section on that. But the beauty contest thing, it just amazed me that it got through and people were actually contributing to it. I go, wait a minute. There was a lot of protests about real beauty pageants. What are you doing now? I was like, oh my God. What I did find interesting though is whose version of beauty. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
is it universal or what?
Mhm.
And then it's like, oh, okay, I see. It's like that was my interest in it. Whatever happened, happened. But along those lines of
But
the
what is that? Like there is, right? So right now we do have a universal standard of beauty. It still exists. It's the golden ratio.
yeah, the golden
Yeah.
ratio. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And
Let's destroy that system too. Bring it
yeah.
all down.
Well, where
Yeah.
the heck did that come from? Who
Exactly. Who are you to tell me that my
who
golden
did
ratio
that?
makes
Was
me
that Da
beautiful?
Vinci? Who
Yeah.
who pulled that
Oh,
together?
I actually don't know.
I
Should we
don't
ask
know.
Let me ask ChatGPT. Hold on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
our
See,
robot a check.
this is real time information, folks.
I love
ChatGPT
it.
can answer all of our questions. Yes.
I've tried Perplexity too. Um,
Yeah, you told me that.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, ChatGPT. Who came up with the golden ratio for facial beauty?
Oh, this would be good.
This
Is
would
it
be good.
talking to you? All right, all right. Well, that's
It's
one
thinking.
thing. Um, I've been thinking about the movie Her a lot lately because that was the one where what's his name fell in love with the AI bot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, at the time seemed outlandish. I think it's not as outlandish.
So it
Uh,
wasn't invented by a single individual. So we can't
oh,
burn. So we can't kill anyone. So that's good. I always like that happy when we can't blame one person.
so it was a
But yeah,
movement. Wow.
so Euclid kind of created it with his mathematical concepts, and what else? And
Interesting. Interesting.
and then for everything else, I'm sure it's probably Donald Trump's fault. But anyway, that's it. That is a total joke.
Well, no, I'm trying to think. Yeah, probably. I'm
It's
sure
not
someone's going to
Greg.
run that.
I am joking. I don't blame Trump for stuff.
I
That's
know.
not my. I don't do that. But anyway,
So
but
interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting. Hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's going on, and then the her thing, right? And we've talked about or therapy. I mean, it's the same basic thing. And then I don't. And again, you got to look at the generations that are coming up, right? There's all sorts of materials out there, but guys are dating less. They're getting more upset with the relationship thing or whatever. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not there, but it's getting a lot of quote attention and press that there's something going on in the dating game
So
with
they have
20 to 30-year-olds.
So they said that there are now like bona fide AI influencers, right? And so these AI influencers, like so many guys are so attached to them. So yeah, absolutely. There are AI influencers that are having, AI led relationships with their followers. So I don't know what that's going to mean. That's going to
Wow.
be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the robotics side, that industry is trying to develop simulated humans.
I think that that's already exists in countries like Japan and those kind of places. That those kind of things already kind of exist, and I think that
they kind of exist. They do, but obviously they're at the very beginning. What did Blade Runner call them? Your basic pleasure unit. They'll come out with that as soon as we jump away from plastics and into flesh, which is not that far away because I think Florida, the state of Florida, just banned synthetic meat, so you can't sell it or whatever in Florida. So, but synthetic meat is just flesh. If you can make a steak, you're going to be able to make a forearm, thigh. You're going to be able to do that, and then that's what we'll have. We'll have workers, and that's my. I don't see how it can't happen. To be honest with you, it's just the way we do things. But right now, the digital girlfriend, the digital partner, whatever you want to call it, I will watch that as it evolves because that I think drives it. I don't know what the outcome or the input will be or the impact.
Absolutely. And you hear it more and more and more all over the place. Like I was listening to The Diary of a CEO, and there's this comedian called Tom Dillon. Have you heard of Tom Dillon?
No. I mean, I may have, but I don't.
I really hadn't heard of him before, and but I've been kind of out of the loop for a while, so that's probably why. And he was talking about it. He was talking about AI and how it's going to change the world. And he was even saying on that, he was saying, I can't wait till I get my AI girlfriend. So people are definitely starting to, attach themselves to that idea. Less complicated, much more nurturing, much more understanding relationships. I don't know. I mean,
that's terrible, but it is. Not, so I watch a lot of podcasts.
It's amazing.
Well, it's filling the void that has been created. Right. I mean, and this is not, I mean, I'm watching the media or for the audience is 18 to 34-year-old males. Right. So there is so much material out there and it's all on YouTube or it's quick anecdotes or podcasts, where, and that's how that demographic is consuming their content. And I can't believe.
Greg, I have to interrupt you because if I don't say this, I'm going to be miscommunicating. I have to rectify what I just said. Tom Dillon is actually gay. So I don't think he was wanting an AI girlfriend. I think he was just wanting an AI partner. Well, so let me correct that because I really do want to make sure that I correct that part. That's very important to me.
Understood. Yeah. So what I was saying is that between the 18 and 35-year-old males, from what I'm sure it's an exaggeration. It may just be 10 to 30%. But they're not asking girls out anymore. They're not approaching women. And to get deeper into it, a lot of them were, obviously from a guy, it is, I'll call it scary. It is, right? So when you're young and you're trying to figure that stuff out, but it's moving away from that to, I don't want to, because if it does work, it's just going to be a big hassle in the next 30, 60, 90 days, 20, 30 years. So it's like, whoa, dude, that's what you mean. Okay.
I mean, but what makes you think for that? Most people. I'm so sorry, but that's what it is for most people.
Right. Okay. I'm not debating that. Like right now, it's in front of what was it? Grin and Barrett. It's like a happy house, happy spouse, happy. That holds up. Well, the guys that are out right now, or the younger set, it's like, well, I don't really want to put up with that.
I mean, that's
holy crap.
Like if you count down, just go ahead and count down 10 relationships that are in front of you, and you know what they're like. Out of that, probably like eight of them are not optimal.
Oh yeah. But 2 of them are.
Hope.
Yeah. Hope springs eternal. Well, I just find that interesting, and obviously some of these guys were taking on. Well, I blame what did they call it? I don't know, women's lib movement of the 60s. Okay, here we go. All right.
This makes me happy. Let's talk about women's liberation. That's my favorite topic on the planet.
Is it really? I would never have thought.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Taylor Swift for president. Taylor Swift for president. Yes. Okay.
hey, Swifty music is back on TikTok.
Yeah.
Speaking
Awesome.
of, they
Yeah.
signed an agreement, so now the music is back on TikTok. There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, women's lib and artificial intelligence. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all I work towards. It's all I do. Like literally, I devoted the entire month of March to women in AI. And
That's
even
right.
yeah, and I went to a conference on Friday at Newcastle University, and I'm gonna call it out. Newcastle University, modern university, one of their biggest AI project releases, and there was like maybe 5% of the room were women.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Was it
And
geared
we all said that. And the amazing thing, which I love about women, like we all just looked at each other and were like, where are the women? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, what is going on? I mean,
yeah. And then also my class that I'm teaching to the Newcastle. No, I can't. I probably can't say that. I don't want to because those are students. But anyway, I'll say the gist of it. So I'm teaching a class to a bunch of students, and all of them are boys. Like it was open to everyone, but all of them are boys. And I told the boys this last week. I said, if they bring a girl, I'm going to give them a prize.
ooh, see, two birds with one stone. Call it a date.
And then some of them were like stud boys, and like, well, what happens if we bring more than one girl? I was
Atta
like,
boy.
you get more than one prize, boo. It's fine.
You have to actually talk to a girl face to face.
Yeah, they can. Come on, Greg. They totally can.
All right, good. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Wow. So, well, now let's talk about that. Do you think the interest level isn't there, or is there a guideline or a regulation that prevents that from prevents women from getting into that? What is it? Is it the age-old engineering thing?
Yeah, 100%. I think that what happens with most technology is this, right? And this is a new technology, right? And we haven't had exposure to it. So when you're looking at technology, like for women, traditionally it was an excluder, right? Badass women would go to college.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. Okay.
So at the end of the day, like until people start understanding that this is probably the easiest accessible tool, it's not even a technology, it's a tool that for women that has ever happened. Yeah, there's going to be a mass migration soon. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's no doubt, because honestly, like when women understand what they can do with AI, and women are like compassionate, empathetic, like really want to make a difference in society. When they realize what they can do with it, they're all going to be like everywhere. It's going to be amazing when that happens.
I can see that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it was Stephen King that said along the lines of the biggest advantage to the women's movement, or whatever you want to call it, is technology. The greatest equalizer is technology, right? So in the old days, men were stronger so they could throw a spear further. But then when the bow and arrow was invented, everyone could shoot, and actually women are better at it.
I love that. I never heard that, Greg. That's wonderful. You're absolutely right.
Right. I mean, and then as time went on, the technology advanced to where women didn't have, it's the great equalizer. Let's put it that way. Right. And it really is right now. Seriously. So it is, I think you're right. This time is like no other, where the tools are available to everyone. So I go back to it. So is it the interest or what's holding, or what's preventing that?
It really is the lack of awareness. And, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's really having the discussions with people about it. We're not like, the funniest thing is I came to the UK, and I chose the UK because the Prime Minister said that the UK would be at the forefront of AI innovation. And I thought, yes, I want to be there. This is going to be amazing. And I got here and I contacted almost I got a long list of, tech press people. And I said, I'm here. I want to make a difference in AI. Not a single one got back to me. Not a single one. And so that's the thing, right? So the press are not interested in this. Like I'm sorry, the only time they're going to be interested in this is when, there's something controversial, because our press is another system that's broken.
Yeah.
We have broken systems. And so, and it's not, it's not any person's fault. I always want to say that because it is so painful what we're going through right now. There is not a journalist who is responsible for this, because at the end of the day, when you decide that you want to become a journalist, you go to school to think that you're going to make a difference, and then you get in the system, and all the system wants is shock journalism. They're not going to write your story unless it's like sensationalized. So yeah, 100%. We are hopefully, there'll be a light here, and we'll make some kind of movement. I'm trying, you're trying. There's lots of people that are trying. We'll keep trying. That's all we can do.
Yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, I don't even look at it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely neutral to me personally. It's like, whatever. I look at it as who's the best person that I can talk to about this, whatever it is, right? Same with hiring and firing, but yeah, who's the best person that can handle this particular task or whatever it is. I don't care. And so to me, it amazes me when that does happen. That it's like, oh wow, yeah, I guess it is that way. So it disheartens me to hear that you did reach out and had
twice. I did it twice because I have a philosophy: once is an anomaly, twice is a pattern, and 3 times is a confirmation. Right. And I didn't do it 3 times because I was like, let me do some more work and then try it 3 times. So now I'm doing the work, and then hopefully maybe I'll try it a 3rd time.
Well, I mean, do you find a resistance might come up because they're perceived you're doing it just to promote the women's side as opposed to talk about AI? I mean, that, I don't know. I'm asking, is there a resistance because of that?
I think the resistance probably happens is because so definitely not because of the women, because I only promoted women in AI in March, and
how did that go?
Yeah. And so this happened beforehand. So I had contacted them beforehand. I think it's just, honestly, like, I could think and think and think. I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
I really don't know. I would have to ask them. They would tell me why they didn't respond to me.
There's probably, it's a complex multiverse.
Yeah. Every person might have a different reason. So I'm just saying it out loud. Like, I don't think the press realize how big this is going to be. And I don't think that the press feel responsible for how big this is going to be.
Wow. It is just a confluence of the way journalism has been brought up in the last 2 decades. The fact that AI impacts everything. So yeah, they can write about it, but they also recognize that it is quote unquote, it's a threat to their livelihood, because it really is to some journalists that there's perceived as a threat.
No, but I will say this, and this is the interesting part about it, right? So this is, if there aren't any people from the press here or end up hearing this for some strange reason, right? I'm going to say this, like, so the sensationalism is built in AI. Like, anything you say about AI in a meaningful and interesting way is going to mesmerize people. Like, it's clickbait within itself.
Yeah. AI is sensational all along.
Yes. You don't need to add anything to it. Just report about AI. It's like the biggest story that's ever happened.
Well, I can attest to that personally with my little project there, the Greg report. For those who don't know it, I'm not promoting it, but it's a place. So I
promote it. Of course, promote it. It's amazing. I love it.
I appreciate that. So, it's a place where I am curating artificial intelligence content. That's the basic platform. But as we've been talking about, AI goes everywhere. So the amount of content that comes out almost hourly about artificial intelligence from any subject matter, because it's all connected, is huge. It is not like anything I've ever seen before in any type of dissemination of any information or data. So what I did is I built a little platform for me. Initially, it's like, gosh, how do I keep track of all this? And I started storing all these links to articles and then a whole list of the sources that I like to go through. Well, I ended up putting it on one page, and I updated it, so it's now available for you go to grwalters.com. It's one of the pull downs, but it's available to go out and find curated content about artificial intelligence. And I strip away the AI whitewashing. I strip away whatever is, an advertisement versus an article. And I think if you go out there right now, you've got everything from flying on their own F-16s by robots. You've got furry robots. You've got information about how Google is buying up all these other AI things. There's a whole section on sex and artificial intelligence and how that industry drove technology and how it's going to, the adult entertainment is obviously going to propel AI.
We know that. We know that. We know that for a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. So it's very interesting to me on the outside to look at all the stuff that I can, and I read every article too. It's like I don't just grab the headline. I read the article, go through. Okay, that's a good one. Boom, that's a good one. And then I'll go back out, come back 2 hours later, and the Wall Street Journal has something. And it's everything. I swear, it's like empty skyscrapers. The line in Dubai, the lunar eclipse, all that stuff is all tied. There's always an AI play, and it's of course stuff about how AI is being developed, the difference between machine language and artificial intelligence, the impact on society. Yeah. But I encourage everyone to just go. I like it. I share it. It is, if I'm curating it. So if I've got whatever bias on what I choose, so be it. But I think it's a pretty wide swath of artificial intelligence. And what I've noticed is that media stuff like this goes through ebbs and flows. Like there's a huge influx and then it drops off. It could be anything. Take an event like Twitter before it was X became popular after I think the Afghan elections and then the hurricane that hit New York City, because everyone was starting and it just blew up. So but then it fell down because the incoming content generating events fell off. I don't see that happening with AI. It's because it goes everywhere. This could go on for years. The information and the content and the studies and the articles. So, but yeah, it's the Greg report. It's called Greg Report. It's modeled after.
And it's amazing. It's so well written, and I love it so much. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yes. So, we're about that time.
Yeah, it's about time.
Well, let's see. What are the takeaways?
What are the takeaways? The takeaways are that there's a lot more that we need to talk about.
Yes, there always will be. I say, let's see, AI wingmen for guys. Let's talk more about, and I didn't talk it in general. I'm not going to try and promote more women, but expose the content to and just look for.
Why are you not going to promote more women?
Well, I don't want to promote one thing over another. So it's like if you're going to promote more women, then you're going to promote more men. Then you're going to
do it. Promote women. Promote men. Let's promote everyone in AI. Let's do it. Let's bring up the skills.
I'll promote everyone. Everyone. Not because so yeah, but I think it automatically does that on its own. I love it. So it's going to be.
But I'm going to be very clear about the fact that I'm all about girl power. You know that about me.
I do.
Yeah.
You're a Swiftie, aren't you?
Well, obviously. You not be. Taylor for president.
I have to tell you, because I just downloaded her last, did she have a double album set that came out? Yeah. So I want to know what's going on in Taylor's life, who she broke up with, how it went, all that. So you figure you'll listen to the music and get it. And then she's got some good guests on it too. I think Post Malone in one of them. I could be wrong. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, Swiftie I'm not, but I don't.
It sounds like you're a secret Swiftie.
Am I? Is that
whatever you want? I think you are a secret Swiftie. Yes.
I was going to say a bunch of stuff, but I'm not going to. We'll save that for another week. Well.
Yes. But anyway, all right. So, Greg, this has been amazing. I enjoyed this conversation. So, to the audience who are watching this, if you are watching this, I will say this is just basically what we do every Friday. Greg and I talk about this stuff every Friday, and we decided that we wanted to share it with you because it's kind of interesting and it's really fun to talk about it. Yeah. And it is such an important topic, and hopefully it's meaningful. I will say this is our second show, and we are still learning. We will continue to learn forever. And so if anyone has any input to share, or if they want us to, include anything, like take anything away, if you want to get rid of Greg, that's fine. If you want to get rid of me, that's fine too. But, at the end of the day, I think that it's a really wonderful opportunity for us to be part of this huge conversation. So be part of the conversation. It's a huge conversation.
Yeah. And I couldn't say anything better, anything more to that. Yeah. Dive in, ask us questions. Love that. Any input would be great. Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
And tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. I'm very thick-skinned. It's totally chill. You can tell me anything.
I'm not. I'm very insecure.
So don't mention Greg's golden ratio. Okay.
Yeah, don't mention my golden ratio.
Yeah, don't you dare come at him with this golden ratio. But anyway,
I love it. All right.
All right.
I'm
All
ready
right, guys.
to,
Have an amazing, amazing week. We have to sign off now.
we do.
Last time we would just say bye to each other, Greg. Now we have to say bye to everyone. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week.
Take care.